Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we will be going over some unhinged stories as I play NightReign. Now some of these stories could be triggering to some, so viewers' discretion is advised. As always, these stories will be linked in the description, and check out the playlist with all of the other relaxing stories videos. And if you like these videos, you should like and subscribe. That being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. The one mistake that followed me for 7 years. Disclaimer, this is a very long post and I'm writing this on my phone, so if there's a lot of mistakes, I'm sorry. It all started in high school. I was a naive, shy, and awkward 14-year-old when I asked this one guy to our school's Sadie Hawkins dance. I knew him from a mutual friend of ours, but we really didn't talk. All I knew was that we both liked anime and manga, and that he was kind of quiet most of the time. So I want to be nice, and I asked him out to the dance. That was mistake number one. That started the years of torment. He said yes, and we agreed that we would just meet at the dance with the rest of our friends. A few hours later, I get a message on Facebook, and it's a long message telling me that he always had a crush on me, that I was beautiful, and that he couldn't compare my beauty to anything else because he considered that an insult to how beautiful I was. It was pretty cringy, but at the end of it, he asked if I would be his girlfriend. I was uncomfortable after reading the entire message, but again, being a shy and awkward 14-year-old, that I was told him yes. Mistake number two. He was ecstatic. He asked to call me that night and asked for my phone number, and I gave it to him. Mistake number three. He calls me later that night, and I learned a lot of things that I did not want to know. One of the major things was that this guy was a massive crybaby. I'm not trying to say that men that cry are weak, but this guy would cry at everything and would always play the victim. Felt like all his friends didn't like him. Cry. No girl other than me would love him. Cry. Teacher failed all of his assignments, even though he openly admitted he didn't want to do any of the work. Cry. The list goes on, but I'll get to more things. I also learned that night that he had a foot fetish, and now that I had his girlfriend, he was going to do so many things to my feet. Again, not try to shame anyone, but as a 14 who didn't like showing off any part of my body, I was uncomfortable, and when I went silent for a little bit, guess what he did? I cried because I thought he was a freak. His words, not mine. I told him no, I didn't think that, though I was starting to. He instantly cheered up. He continued to call me every night, and the conversations usually were the same as the first night. He called until the night of the dance. At the dance, he mentioned he never had his first kiss and how sad it was. I already had my first kiss at this point, and I'm so glad he wasn't. I kissed him at the dance just to get it over with. However, throughout the night, he would try to kiss me even more, and even tried shoving his tongue in my mouth. It got so bad that a teacher had to pull us apart. Of course, he goes off to sulk and cry. After the dance, I get a text from him saying how magical I made the night for him, that the kiss was delicious, not exaggerating, and how the stupid teacher didn't understand our love, again, not exaggerating. I was feeling pretty sick to my stomach at this point and wanted to break up with this guy, but I stayed a little bit longer. Mistake number 4. 2 days later, he asked me out on a date to movies. Stupidly, I said yes, and he asked if one of his best friends had come, and if I could bring one of my best friends since his friend found her attractive and wanted her to be his girlfriend. I told both of them no, because he wasn't her type, and now, honestly, she hated him. They keep pushing me to bring her, but I kept telling them no. His best friend calls me Killjoy cunt, and he did his usual thing of crying, because he didn't get what he wanted. We go to the Lorax that night, and his friend sits behind us. The second the lights go out, he turns my head and starts kissing me and pushing his tongue into my mouth. I try to push him away because I was not going to let him do to me the entire movie. Again, his friend is right behind us, and he keeps trying to kiss me. Movie ends, and when I get home, he sent me a text saying he was depressed and a picture of my feet would make him feel better. I told him no, and he threatened to kill himself, and it would be all my fault because I didn't send him a photo. Horrified at how fast he snapped, I sent him a photo. Next night, he asked if I had been naughty lately. Knowing where this was leading to, I told him no. He then starts crying about how I was cheating on him, and that I had been being naughty with other people, and again, he threatened to kill himself. I tried to calm him down by telling him that I was a virgin and was not a sexual person at all. He suddenly, as if on a dime, stops his fit and asks me if he could just completely forget about what just happened. I tired telling him that what he did was incredibly inappropriate and was about to tell him to leave me alone, but he pulls the victim card again and starts crying. During the crying, he asked for another picture of my feet to calm him down. Scared he was going to snap again, I sent him another picture. This continued for a few more days until he would try and message me whenever I was busy at school, babysitting, volunteer work, etc., accuse me of cheating, tell him what was going on, him saying sorry and playing the victim, and asking for pictures of my feet to calm him down. I eventually had enough, and after 2 weeks of dating and broke off a relationship, he cried, of course, and begged that we at least stay friends. School year was ending, and he said he was transferring to a new school, so I figured I would never see him again. Wrong. Beginning of the school year, he would message me, and when I didn't respond, he would cry and threaten to kill himself. After a while, I just started to ignore the messages and threatened to call the police if he didn't stop messaging. Thought he would have stopped after that, right? Wrong. Every year up until I turned 21, he would message me random things at random times. Example, hey my friend, we're friends, right? Can you send me a picture of Pete? I miss you. I'll leave you alone if you want me to. I'm pathetic, aren't I? And so much more. And each time I ignored him and finally blocked him on every platform he tried to contact me on. Fast forward to 21. I'm in college a ways away from my town in Virginia and have a boyfriend. I get a notification from Instagram saying he started following my profile. I quickly block him, and not even 5 minutes later, I get a message from Facebook from a random profile I didn't know. The message read, "Why did you block me on Instagram?" I lost it. I sent him a long message telling him if he contacted me in any way, shape, or form, I would get restraining, and told him how damaging that would be to his reputation and his future career. Again, he played the victim and told me that he couldn't believe he fell for a liberal bitch like me and to never contact him again. Never heard from him again, and good riddance. A few months later, I get a message from a girl who used to date him as well. She told me he used to threaten to kill himself and cry if she told him she ever left him. Again, sorry for the long post. There are more details to the story, but this is already way too long. Stalker steals content and makes up a fantasy world using my photos and videos. This is a messed up story with so many details that I'm not sure how to structure it, but I'll do my best. I'll probably forget to add it. I'll divide it into chapters/parts, so it will be easier to navigate. I usually live in Stockholm, Sweden. There, I attended high school and met my husband. He will come into play later. I was very active on social media. I had Gifio back, and that was the thing. I used the GIFs to link to my blog, to show makeup, hairstyles, etc. For those who don't know what Gifio is, it was basically Instagram, but only for GIFs. Back in the day, I had a pretty large following on that site, but the site had its downsides, particularly the nasty sexual messages you get quite often. Part 1, a meeting, then this person, Robin, started following me and was so nice and friendly. It felt genuinely like Robin wished me all the best and made me happy. Whenever she would write, Robin said that she was a male, 23 at the time and was from UWS, but that he had the sweetest relatives. I thought that was pretty dope, and we would chat a few times a month. In English, I also love to sing, and I uploaded covers to YouTube. Robin would be so excited when I released new covers and compliment me, and I'd feel great. It was so nice to have an online friend who seemed truly happy for me. Though this behavior started to become too much sometimes. It started to feel wrong. Part 2, flags. Robin then sent me a drawing. He said it was a portrait of me. It was a girl with animal ears, making a cute pose with her hand, piercing green eyes and whiskers. He said it is like me, but mixed with a cat, my favorite animal. I was beyond impressed. It was so cute, and I was flattered that someone would draw me. But that excitement turned to ash in my mouth one night. This is where it all started for real. Where the flag should have gone up. I play League of Legends, and one of my favorite champions back then was Ahri, especially in her Foxfire Ahri skin. I was scrolling through Safari on my phone to find a wallpaper her to have on my phone, and then I see the picture. The fan art Robin made, only that the eyes were now yellow like Ahri's. I clicked the picture, and it linked me to a DeviantArt account. The caption was something like, "Casual cute Foxfire Ahri posted 3 years ago." I wrote to Robin and told him how upset I was that he stole a drawing from an artist, edited the colors a bit, and claimed to have worked hard making it himself. I explained to him how awful it is to take someone else's work and say that you yourself made it. He said he was ashamed and sorry, and said he only wanted to impress me and make me smile. I couldn't stay mad at him for long, but I was wary now. It had been a while since I had posted a cover, and Robin made sure as hell I knew it had been a while. He would nag and plead with me to make another one, to the point that I told him back to flipping burgers off. I posted a cover a few weeks later. Part 3, Too Close to Comfort. I broke up with Jack, my boyfriend. We went our different ways, and it was okay. Robin, on the other hand, was not. He couldn't for the sake of humanity grasp why we had broken up and pleaded yet again. But this time it was a pleading for me to get back together with my boyfriend. I tolerated this at first, because to most people we seemed perfectly happy together. Jack and I got really upset with him because after a few days on end, he would ask if we were getting back, and I just explained that Jack was unfaithful, seeing other girls, flirting with them. The response, "Oh, but you can't forgive him? Not getting back." I was done. I told him to leave me alone. He did. Part 4. Found out I was just like last time, scrolling on the internet, and thought one night that I wanted to listen to others doing the same cover that I did. I started scrolling through the list, and I see my face on a thumbnail with the caption, "Song name, cover by me." This was not my video, not my YouTube account. My heart froze. I felt myself grow cold. I clicked, and my audio started playing. It was my voice, my picture, but not my name. I clicked the profile, and the coldness intensified. Every cover of me, every video of me from my own YouTube, Instagram, friends' YouTubes, Jack's YouTube, and SoundCloud was on there. The videos dated back 2 whole years. The account said that her name was Jenny and that she was the one singing, producing the music. Hell, even going as far as taking videos of my relatives and saying it was her family. I was confused, scared, and angry. Who would do this? I got my answer with the most twisted thing I've experienced online. In the comments of the videos were comments from Robin's account. Robin, thanks so much, Jenny, for dedicating this song to me. Jenny, oh no bother, Robin. I made it all for you. It was like this stalker was either 2 stalkers, or this person made up 2 characters and was talking to him / herself through the comments. This freaked me out big time. I wrote to all my friends whose content was stolen, wrote to my ex and my new boyfriend, now fiancé, and told them to help me shut this thing down. The account was shut down within 20H. I blocked all accounts linked to Robin, including the Jenny accounts. I locked all social medias, removed everyone I didn't know IRL. I Google image reversed all my profile pictures and nothing came up. I was paranoid for about a year after this. I didn't trust anyone I didn't know IRL. Part 5, the aftermath. Robin made new accounts to follow me, which I blocked. I have an official Instagram for work and such which she could be looking at. But it is something I've now just accepted will happen and that I shouldn't live in internet fear because of one person. Just a month ago I logged into Tumblr because I wanted to see if I had some juicy memes stashed there somewhere. Yeah, I know, cringe. I then saw blocked accounts. Only one blocked. Guess who? Robin had changed the Tumblr blog from her Robin fakery to something new, something personal. The blog was filled with angst, just like all other Tumblrs. But this one was filled with self-hatred posts, extremism, racism, and long posts written in Swedish. This was the first time it hit me. This person was Swedish. I told my best friend to go through the blog to see if her FBI skills could sniff something out, and she did. I'll combine all evidence that her and I combined know so far. Part 6, Conclusion. The stalker is probably born 1989, and she lives in the same part of the city as my parents, where I lived before. Gender, not sure, seems to depend. The stalker couldn't go to high school, but must have known me from something else. Mutual friends or something. Either. She stole my content for years, pretended to be my friend to get more content, and is probably still checking on me. My best guess is that it was a girl who wanted to have my life and my boyfriend. When I stopped creating new content, broke up with Jack a whole made-up world started to fall apart. If Robin somehow reads this, I hope you'll find acceptance and happiness in yourself, because it is no life living it through someone else. Go in peace. I have to this day still no clue what Robin is. Meeting Serious, help a group of stalkers/hackers terrorize me daily for way too long. So for the past 4 years of my life, some group of people have literally stalked, hacked, and harassed me and several people I know and a bunch of people I don't. I believe these sadistic assholes are out deliberately fucking with me and others for their own amusement. And because I want to pay some Nigerian assholes several $1,000s. The reason I believe this is because the person that is close to me, the family member, in this religious belief called Ifa West Africa, had the same thing happen to him. He was harassed to the point where he severely harmed himself. But once he joined the belief, all these so-called problems stopped, and from another person that is a member of this religious belief, when I told him my problems, he started laughing and said the same thing happened to his son. If you guessed that once his son paid the money and went to Africa for the initiation of problems, he was having the same eye, and my family member had stopped. My family member told me a month or two before all these events started to happen that if I didn't do what he told me, that bad things were going to happen. He would hint extremely hard the events that would soon become reality to me. He would tell me that I should move away and not be around people, keep to myself, stuff like that. I'm an adult. I can't not have a job and just hide away somewhere. Before I realized that the people doing this probably have ties to people who knows their religious belief. The super fuck part of this is I have had neighbors, co-workers, and strangers complain about supposedly them in person fucking with them or stalking them, shit like that, because some group of people are out harassing others and blaming it on me. I have literally been homeless, without a phone, sleeping in a church parking lot to wake up to several people from my work at the time in the parking lot screaming that I'm fucking with them and shit like that. I have tried my local police department and several government agencies for help. The police tell me I need to go to the FBI, or get licenses, plate numbers, or get recording of the drone they're using to watch me. The FBI tells me just to file a IC3 complaint for the hacking. And this is way greater than that. How do I get the solid evidence I need when I don't know how to find the hack/route they're using? And what kind of camera do I need to take a picture of something that's way off in the distance? Once I had the belief that maybe this religious group was the reason why these events transpired, and from another few events revolving around that Christianity is the true belief I haven't been around my family member, and there's no way in hell I'm going to just play along and pay these people and go on this journey to another country to give some assholes the money they want to potentially fund these people making the decisions on who this happens to out. Terrorism ain't cool, and the worst part is they started saying extremely bad sexual shit once I started going towards Christianity over electronics/sound device thing attached to drone. I have lost several high-paying jobs, friends, and a lot of respect from a lot of people just because these people fucked in my /other shit and just keep stating the perpetrator. Any advice would be great. This isn't a joke whatsoever. Thank you for reading. Weird girl in school. There was a girl at my school who had no friends, and I tried to be nice to her, but she had no grasp of personal face. We'll call her Durfler. I was trying to find the weirdest name. She would follow me and my best friend around, and invite herself into things we were doing. If I was having a conversation with my best friend, Durfler would start talking even though we weren't talking to her. My BFF told me that Durfler followed her around in gym. Durfler also joined every club I did, but it got worse. We were waiting outside the theater for the teachers to come so we could have talent show rehearsal. A group of friends were running around and other stuff. Durfler, who didn't even know them, runs up to one of the boys and tackles him. He had a really confused expression. Another day at talent show practice, Durfler kept following me even though I didn't want to talk to her. I kept walking away and she wouldn't stop. Then it got even worse. It was the night of the choir performance. A school aide was taking pictures for the yearbook. Me and my friends posed for a picture. Durfler started shoving on my friends so she could be in the picture. Then our music teacher told us if we needed to use the bathroom, go now. Most of the people left the bathroom. I went into a stall, and then I heard someone enter. Hello, insert my name. What stall are you in? I was creeped out and didn't respond. She chuckled. I asked you a question. I stayed silent. I waited for her to go in stall because I didn't want to talk to her. Then we got on stage. I was standing next to my other best friend. I had on a sequin covered dress, and Durfler was standing behind me on the risers. I felt someone touching my shoulder, and she was touching the sequins with the creepiest smile on her. I moved away from her. I told her to stop bothering me, and she stopped for a while. Then during class, I got called down to guidance. I got nervous and was worried that I was alone. The guidance counselor told me that Durfler came down to the office and wanted to be friends with me. The counselor asked if I wanted to be friends with her, and I said no and left. Luckily, she doesn't bother me anymore, but she still follows my best friend during gym. Potential kidnapping? This is going to be long, so I apologize in advance. But it was creepy as hell. I was at the local grocery store. I visit weekly to shop for food. I normally spend $100 to $200 a week on food for myself and my family. So I always leave with a full cart. I'm standing in the checkout line minding my business when a tall man, I guess early 40s, approached me and complimented my hair. "Your hair is gorgeous." Loud enough for everyone within a 20-foot radius to hear. Now, I appreciate a compliment as much as the next girl, but it was a little obnoxious, to say the least. I thanked him politely and redirected my attention to my cart, where I awkwardly started organizing the items, in hopes that the 15 pairs of eyes now staring in my direction would look elsewhere. Unfortunately, Loudmouth didn't take the hint. He started asking rapid-fire questions/statements, barely pausing for me to get a word in edgewise before the next sentence would spill out his mouth. This is when it gets really awkward, as if it wasn't weird enough. He asked if I want to go out with him sometime, maybe tonight after I put my groceries away. He could come to my house and help me put groceries away, and then we could leave from there. I told him I didn't think my husband would appreciate that, and he got angry. I was freaked out at this point, and everyone was still staring. After I rejected his offer, his mood changed so fast, it was like a light switch got flipped and the compliments turned into nasty insults and curses. Mind you, this guy didn't have a cart or anything in his hand to buy. He was kind of standing off to the side, kind of leaning on one of the drink refrigerator displays. Thankfully, a gentleman who was an aisle within my sight, who presumably heard the whole thing, came up behind us and asked him if he was in line. Loudmouth said no. The gentleman promptly told him he was being inappropriate, loud, and needed to buzz off. To my surprise, Loudmouth stepped aside, with one final insult, and stomped out of the store. I thanked gentleman, and we continued waiting in line. Me with an entire week of groceries and a bottle of Gatorade. I offered to let him go in front of me, and he declined, saying that he wasn't in a rush. It was really like one of those scenes in a movie where the nice tough guy saves a girl from a jackass. Even so, I was afraid Loudmouth would be waiting outside, so I asked the cashier to call one of her co-workers to walk me to my car. The gentleman insisted that he would be happy to escort me to my car, and I accepted. But as I stood there watching the cashier ring my items, I was overcome by this sick feeling like I was going to vomit everywhere. I decided it was just my nerves as I have issues with anxiety, and this reaction is pretty normal. It typically passes within a few minutes once I'm able to talk myself down. But for fear of further embarrassment, this time in the form of projectile vomiting in the middle of the grocery store, I hurriedly paid and took a seat on a bench close by. I told gentleman never mind, and that I was a little freaked out, so I was going to call my husband come pick me up instead. We get the car later. I didn't care, I just wanted to make it home in one piece. He told me to have a nice day and walked out the door. Hand to God, as soon as he walked out of the building, I felt normal again. So still blaming my anxiety, I felt sort of silly, but I'd already called my husband, so I stood up and pushed my cart over the window to watch for my ride, just in time to see a junky white SUV drive by with freaking wait for it. The gentleman in the passenger seat, and Loudmouth in the driver's seat. I about shit myself. Pedophile boys at McDonald's. Hi, I'm a 13-year-old boy, and I have a blushing problem, that I blush really easily. I have little friends, so when I go get fast food, I usually go by myself. A few months ago, not sure exactly when, I was alone at Burger King. I was sitting at the back seat, so no one would see me. Then this one boy with curly blonde hair came up to me and said hi twice in a very gay voice. It made me think uncomfortable, so I just ignored him. I know that I've seen him a couple times, but never in school. He looked younger than me, but I have no balls to do anything. He probably went to the other school near my house. Today I went to McDonald's, and I sat there for a while watching YouTube. I don't have a lot of money, so I got some fries and a water cup. I sat in the back, and I snuck soda instead of water. Then I saw the same gay kid, but he was a friend. They sat across from me and talked to each other. Whenever I looked at the kid or his friend, we always made eye contact. Okay, so what else can happen? Then the kid stood up and went to me, and they kept looking at me. Then they made a sharp U-turn and went back to their seats. A few minutes passed it, and they stood up again. This time they came up to me and sat by me. I blushed, don't know why. And then I stood up and walked to a different seat. The kid and his friend followed me and sat by me again. I had the courage to ask, "Can I help you?" And the friend said no. Then the kid started asking about what I was watching. I answered, and then there was silence. Then the kid and his friend started looking at my phone. I blushed but kept quiet. Then the kid asked why I had a water cup, and there was soda inside. I told him it was a small soda, but he showed me that his friend had one, and I was lying. I blushed again. Then the friend asked for my phone, and I said no. He said that he'll call the cops if I don't give him my phone, so I told him to do it. Both of them were talking very low, and I think that they were trying to get attention. I was going to get out of my seat and was going to call my friend Dennis. I stood up, but the kid blocked my way. He asked where I was going, and I said, "Why do you care?" He let me go, but him and his friend followed. I went to the bathroom and was going to call my friend when they also came in. So I went in the stall, and when I was going to close the door, the kid stopped the door from closing. I decided to try to close the door, which I did. Then I decided to text my friend if I can come over and tell him the story. He said that it was fine. The kid's friend decided to try to crawl under the stall to me. So I opened the door and ran out. The kid tried grabbing me by the shirt, but he missed. I got in my bike and I rushed to my friend's house. Here I am at his house writing this. What should I do if I see the kid again? Should I tell an employee to tell the kid to stop following me? Should I run out? Should I get friends and go with them? Or should I get the balls to ask them to leave and try to force them? I don't know. Please give me some advice because I don't want that to happen again.